More shenanigans. AJ to return on Undercard. Now, I thoroughly looked at this to see if there was a time lapse in information, because we just heard yesterday that AJ is going to fight in February and possibly Africa. We know that. That's been the reports. Now, as of 12 hours ago, okay, this is from Ring Magazine. All right, so this is a very, very credible source, that AJ to return on Undercard and Anthony Joshua's next fight could take place on an Undercard in December. Eddie Hearn has revealed to the Ring. AJ hasn't fought on an Undercard since his stoppage win against Kevin Johnson over 10 fucking years ago. Okay? And let me counterpunch. This is very disappointing. I mean, for a lot of reasons. For one, you're putting AJ, a guy that has made you a lot of money on the Undercard. And it just shows you that the reluctancy to even give him his own card I think is unacceptable. I think that's disrespectful, because it's like, okay, you know, if I'm Eddie Hearn and I've made at least 25, 30, 40 million dollars off of AJ, probably more than that, you know, especially with this lifetime contract shit, you would think that he would like, hey, AJ, you want to fight? Let's make you a card. You know what I mean? If anything, it doesn't have to be on a Saturday. It could be a Friday if it's, you know, if it's coming between some other card that, you know, that may be in conflict that's already happening that particular day, right? So it could be on a Friday. They could have done it easier than this possible trying to figure out, hey, let's put AJ on an Undercard. And, I just don't like that idea. I don't like it. It shows disrespect. In December, and it just shows, though, that if Eddie's willing to do that, I mean, the only thing that will save Eddie from this, right? That's the only thing that I think of is acceptable to this is if AJ just wanted to fight on somebody's Undercard, which, I don't know if that's the case. I wouldn't think that he would, but that would be the only way that this becomes acceptable. If AJ says, man, I don't care, just get me on the Undercard, but then it's like AJ on the Undercard doesn't seem right to me. In fact, before this shit happens, people, AJ's done enough, man. He's made enough money. He's done, he's tried, he's made his comeback. He's done a lot in the sport. You know what I mean? He brought British boxing back. So because of all that I just mentioned, I would rather see him retire than to be put as a second-rate, poop-putt, hand-me-down, has-been fucking fighter. You would never see Canelo Alvarez on an Undercard of anybody anymore. Because once you become a star, you go out as a fucking star. Not, hey, you come up this fiery, damn near, the best in the UK and all this, that, and the golden Olympian and all this, that, and the other. And then you end your career on an Undercard. That's like second to how they did Joe Louis. They had him like a door greeter at Caesar's Palace, once upon a time before, he passed. And that was sad enough. But, unless he just wanted to do that. But understand, that still, doesn't give justice to somebody that's a legend. You should never be able to see someone to that degree that had that type of respect stoop down to that level. You want to put AJ on the Undercard, bro, that's just downright disrespectful. And here's the most infuriating part. You've already said this, but then now you're reneging like, oh, I'm thinking back about putting AJ on that. Look, listen, Eddie. It doesn't do it just shows you where people do you and how promoters are. You know what I mean? Because if If it's not AJ saying, bro, I don't care if it's on the undercard or not, just give me a fight because I need to fight sometime this year. In that case, that's understandable. I wouldn't agree with it, but it's still understandable. I mean, he can do what he wants to do, but more than likely, people, and this is just a hunch to me, Eddie Hearn is good at bullshitting people. And he's good at talking to promoters, but I think he's better at convincing fighters on how he feels that their career should go. So he's better at bullshitting them. So I think what Eddie's doing is simple. Oh, let me talk AJ into the wonderful reasons why he should fight on somebody else's fucking undercard. So more than likely, Eddie will try to talk him into this, just to, I don't know. But it's almost, to me, people, in closing, from Eddie thinking about doing this and even attempting to put this into play, it makes me feel like Eddie's secretly like chastising and punishing AJ for losing to Dubois. You know what I mean? It's almost like, this is your punishment. Let's throw your ass on the undercard of whoever's fight. You know what I mean? So, that's what it seems like to me. I don't know, man. You guys tell me what you think about this whole, now I'm revisiting the idea of AJ fighting on an undercard. Once again, of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.